Law Simplified with Justice is anchored by Justice Maduforo. Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. We are well equipped in our litigation and advocacy for the benefit of our clients, corporates, and individuals. Why not visit us at 5 Oakfield House, Oakfield Road, Ilford, London, IG1 1EF. We are just 15 minutes from Liverpool Street Station. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Law Simplified with Justice. I remain your usual regular host, Justice Maduforo. I am a solicitor of the Supreme Court of England and Wales, or these days called Senior Court of England and Wales. And you also know that I'm a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Law Simplified with Justice, as you know, brings the very best of legal topics. It does not in any way constitute legal advice. Therefore, you must not, and I say this, you must not act on what you hear me speak on this program, nor indeed my discussions on this platform. But the essence of the program is for you to take the number, to call me in the office, call the office, book an appointment to come in, and I will take detailed instruction from you and advise you accordingly. It is at that stage that you can act on whatever you hear me speak or say at that stage and point in time. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is important that you understand that this is not a legal advice program. I have brought you diverse topics on this platform and on the show. It is a very captivating show because I make sure, and the essence and the vision of this program is kickstart your consciousness and to enable you to take action. Law is the fundamental thing that grounds and holds all existence of mankind. In the absence of law, there will be anarchy. Anarchy in your place of work, anarchy in courts, anarchy in any fields that you find yourself. In immigration, in family, there will be anarchy, if not the law. So the law is the anchor that holds the fortress. Therefore, don't take it lightly, especially in the United Kingdom that understands the basis of the legal right and understand the basis of legal matters. It's important, therefore, you should not, especially those of you coming into this country, from a country or from abroad where you do not necessarily stand more on the law. And it's different from this side of the globe, which means that you must now make sure that you stay in line with the law. I have brought you topics in employment, criminal, family law, contract and commercial, and immigration. By popular demand, I'm also discussing immigration today. Because the reason being that I am trying to emancipate the minority out there who are still sleeping, or even if they are awake, but they are sleepwalking, as a matter of fact, because they've not taken hold of their rights as enshrined by the law and the rules, the immigration rules, as a matter of fact. What I'm discussing today, immigration may not affect you, but it might affect your brother, sister, your friend, or somebody you know abroad here in the United Kingdom. And you want them to take benefit of this legal advice, to come to the office and take a tailor-made, hassle-free legal advice and representation, and also advocacy in any court of law in the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, especially England and Wales. Let me now tell you this, that over the years, I have succeeded to put smile on faces of people in diverse areas of law that I'm specialist in, ranging from immigration to employment to criminal law and the rest of them. You know, I'm police station and magistrate court duty solicitor, accredited by the Ministry of Justice through the legal aid agency to make sure that people that are faced with criminal allegations receive the best representation. And guess what? I give you the best. And I represent you in your best interest, cut across all areas of your endeavor. Now, let me crack on with the show today. Today, as I said, I'm discussing immigration, and the topic today is precarious immigration status. Precarious immigration status. What do I mean by that? People say, your condition is precarious. By simple English term to define precarious. And it's something that is staggered, something that is not straightforward, something that is not legitimate, something that is not in accordance. So whatever you have to explain as what amounts to precarious condition, that is what concerns you. Somebody may have a precarious health status, which means that he's in and out of hospital, or he in and out of one sickness or the other. And so these are so many conditions where precarious term can come in. But in the immigration palace, that's what is called precarious immigration status. Precarious immigration status. That is the topic of today. Precarious immigration status. Now, the issue here, from what I've explained briefly, is that condition or that state of that immigrant or you. Whether or not you've been here on indefinite leave to remain, or you're now about to apply for your naturalization as a British citizen. Meanwhile, before that occurred, you have been living here, your immigration status has been precarious, has been staggered, has been a lot of chain, and it's not been a chain reaction. It's been staggered in such a way that it's broken chain along the line. But at the end of the day, you ended up obtaining your leave to remain and indefinite leave to remain. Now you move into the next stage. Now, for those of you who are not yet applied for the indefinite leave to remain, you are applying for your leave to remain here to regularize your stay, to regularize your stay in the United Kingdom legitimately, either because you fulfill the requirement of a certain immigration rules. And so you want to take advantage of that to make the application to regularize your stay in the United Kingdom. Now, where does precarious immigration status come in? You may ask me. Now, under the Section 8 of the Human Rights Act of the European Convention of Human Rights, there are two arms of that Section 8, and you know that. One is the family right, and the other one is the private right, which is private life and family life. Each of them has given you your rights. So both of them can also be fused together. In some instances, in the immigration rules from 2012, are split up that into two, such a way that you can make your application on private life on its own, and also base your application on articulate, which is the family life as well. So both are articulate, but split into two stages, which is one, the family, one, private. Now, in the circumstances you find yourself, you want to make an application to regularize your stay in the United Kingdom based on your private life. Based on your private life. A lot of you fall into this category of private life application. I do not want to overemphasize on this, because some of you don't have a lot of the requirements there to make your application, advance your application to other sectors of the rules, whether within immigration rules or outside of the rules. But you have based your application, mostly of you, on private life application, either because of certain circumstances that you know that you do not fulfill and meet the requirement. Therefore, the only requirement and the only option open to you is the private life application in the United Kingdom. Therefore, what will now you do? What will you do now? Either way, what will you do if your only option is private life? That is where this topic hangs on. It hangs on the private life application that you are about to make. You don't even know that you're entitled to it. You don't even know that you can make that application. You don't even think about it. You just simply have the mindset that you do not meet any rules, and therefore you sit tight where you are. This program, as you know, kickstarts your consciousness. Do not hear the sound of my voice and listen to this program doing nothing. If you have no status in this country, even if you have status limited and it's about to expire, you have on the point-based system, it's about to expire. Do not just sit there. You must take advantage of this program and come in for me to now completely consult with me, and for me to untangle your circumstance and labor in such a way that it will be a straightforward application for you to achieve or to extend your leave, if some of you are applying to extend, either from limited leave to remain or even to apply for your indefinite leave or extension of indefinite leave to remain, whichever application that you find yourself into, ladies and gentlemen. I am good when I advise you in your matter. And I say that on the TV here, where 60 million plus are watching me. I am good at what I speak. And when I'm good, I want to advise you, because I am passionate about the law, and I use it to emancipate you, the minority, the majority, whatever category you find yourself. In a land where you don't understand your right and your left, you need to engage with those who understand the basics, the fundamentals, the rudiments of the country. As I said to you when I started this program, this country is hinged on law, and therefore every other thing, as a matter of fact, without it, anarchy will prevail. Therefore, the most important thing is for you to comply. Otherwise, there'll be jungle justice out there. But the law ensures that people comply with the rules and regulation laid down. Even if you fall foul of it, mitigation is there. Mitigation sometimes is more powerful than even when you're on the right-hand side. Mitigations are always key. You may not know that you have mitigation to regularize your state through information you will give me, you pass on to me, and then I will use that to apply to regularize your stay in the United Kingdom. But you must take the first step, which is to call, to book an appointment, come and see me. However, you must pay consultation fee to speak to me, to consult with me, for me to transfer my legal knowledge to you. You must pay consultation fee. That is what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, call the office and you'll be put through and how that works. Now, from having said that, I did say your precarious condition will determine whether your application will succeed or not. Those of you who don't know that you have an opportunity to make an application on private life, and because the Home Office or the government understood clearly that before 2012, there has been a lot of applications coming on private life which sometimes slip through the discretionary leeway. On that basis, there have been an overhaul of the law from July 2012, which now incorporated private life within the rules as an arm of itself, which means setting up criteria and requirements which you must meet for you not to scale through in that format and in that law and in that set of application. Now, to get it right, you must make sure that you come to a place where you understand how to package your application rightly. Precarious immigration status. Now, where does it apply? Precarious immigration status applies in your application that you make under private life. Under private life applications. Now, it also may apply to other applications that you make outside of the family life. It does not affect family life, but I will tell you where it affects family life in the long run. But the essence of precarious immigration status affects private life. What do I mean by that? When you've lived in this country for 14 years, 10 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, some of you have not even made any application whatsoever. Some of you have come in through agents who brought you into the United Kingdom. Some of you have come here through one way or the other. You came to the United Kingdom. Whichever way you came in, it's none of our business. It's not the way. The law does not want to know that. But to some extent it does, if at all it's extreme. But in the real sense of it, you are trying to regularize your stay. But remember, let me say this quickly, how you come to the United Kingdom is now becoming a big issue when you go forward, assuming you're granted and you're going forward to regularize and to become a British citizen in the long run. How you came here will be now fast-tracked backwards to bring out how you came to the United Kingdom. If you come to the office, I'll explain that to you. Some of you have lived to remain here, but you came to the United Kingdom in such a way that is undocumented. However, there are issues on the way. There are traps on the way for you when you are now extending and reaching the time to apply for your indefinite leave to remain. If you want to understand what those traps are, call and come to the office. Seek information. Information is key so that you will know how to prepare your future. You know how to prepare the journey. If you're not informed, you can't prepare the journey. If you want to travel, you put the postcode. The postcode tells you how many miles, how many toll gates you will go through. That is preparing yourself. That's what I call information as you prepare journey. All of you, any of you, whoever it is that is still under the immigration control, you are in a journey. And to get that journey and the map correct, you need Tice Madox Solicitors. You need me to guide you all the way through so that you don't fall foul. I'm going to take a quick short break and I'll return back and I will now begin to expand on the precarious immigration conditions, the effect of it, and how that affects you. Stick on there, don't change the dial, remain Justice Maduforo, your preferred solicitor, and of course your preferred law firm.
Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Law Simplified with Justice. Before the short break, I introduced to you the precarious immigration status of anybody who is in this country, the effects of it, and the adverse effects of that precarious condition. What are the effects? Now, let me take you through. Precarious condition, immigration status is where an individual who has been in this country, maybe came in here, let me break it down to a simple explanation, came in here in 2001, for instance, this is 2015. 2015 now, he came in 2001, one way or the other, undocumented or documented. Along the line, the leave to remain at that stage has expired, and along the line, 2 years down the line, he made an application. Along the line, application failed. He now escaped the radar. He now refuses to continue to engage the Home Office, stays away for 4 years. In that 4 years period along the line, he was arrested, detained, and he was now released temporarily on condition to sign regularly. And that condition, he signed once, twice, forget about signing, or he signed once, or he never signed anything at all, and off he goes. And then along the line, he was arrested again, a new development in his life. He was granted temporary release again, and he never signed on again. After the 2 years down the line, he made an application. The application stayed on, was refused. He never appealed, with right of appeal or not. He stays on there. He now obviously goes on the rather and again. In the next 5 years or 2 years, he's, for instance, arrested again. Or in such a way, he made an application, whether detained or not. That application has not been considered by the Secretary of State on behalf of the Secretary of State, by the caseworker, and has considered that your condition, your immigration status is such precarious that you cannot even consider to grant you. Whether or not you meet the rules or not, this is another issue. Because if you meet the rules and your condition is precarious, that could amount to refusal. Now, what do you do when you're in that condition? You come to Tice Madox Solicitors to take you through and use the case laws that are available out there, turning out by the upper tribunal, turning out by the Court of Appeal, by the European Court of Justice, dealing with Article 8 matters squarely, and how that can be used to regularize that decision of the caseworker on behalf of the Secretary of State. So it's important that you understand that. So this is, in a nutshell, a simple analogy of what the precarious condition of an immigrant is, or precarious immigration status of an immigrant could be. This is not just the fact the person is 9 years here, 2 years down the line, 3 years even, no application made whatsoever. The person is out in the society, made no application whatsoever. This is where it also comes up. And if you are detained, you have little or no chance whatsoever to even gain a temporary release, because you determined that your application on your leave to remain in this country or your immigration status has been such precarious. Now, Section 117B of the Nationality, Immigration and Asylum Act 2007 deals with precarious immigration status as it applies to private life, not family life. That section of the case, which I mentioned, Section 117B of the Nationality, Immigration and Asylum Act, was dealt with in a case of AM against the Secretary of State. AM Malawi is a 2015 Upper Tribunal decision. 2015, this year, Upper Tribunal decision, which dealt decisively with issue of precarious immigration status of an immigrant. Now, this is the Upper Tribunal, a court of record, making significant comments, making significant findings in respect to an individual whose circumstance in this country has been such precarious that he has made an application to regularize his stay through that arm I mentioned, which is the private life arm, not the family life arm. So it affects decisively the private life application made. Now, under the rules, the private life application has now been put in stages in such a way that you meet the rules, you apply. Now, as a matter of fact, private life application has been in a situation whereby the Secretary of State tried to streamline it for an application, but has still failed to understand and grasp and to make it conclusive that if you don't meet the rules, you will fail. Which means that under the case law I mentioned to you now, there are leeways, there is flexibility of which to work with your application for private life in the United Kingdom. What do I mean by that? Your private life in the United Kingdom will determine whether you meet the rules to regularize your stay, to stay on in the United Kingdom as a lawful resident. So in order to get to that stage, you now have to understand that you meet the rules. If you don't meet the rules, there are flexibility through this case law, which has now provided in such a way that this matter can run through in such a way that we can present a still much better application and with at least 55% chances of success. I always talk about chances of success because it's not just by making the application, you have to also determine the chances of the success. Because I understand that most of you find it difficult to raise this money to pay the fee. You know the fees are changing. Each day the Home Office changes the fee. The application fees are just on the rise. And somebody said, jokingly said, there's inflation in immigration rules. The fees in immigration rules are on inflation because the fact that these fees are changing and they're going upwards, not downwards. Now, recently introduced is immigration health surcharge fee. introduced by the government in order to raise billions of dollars to cushion the effect of NHS, which you as an immigrant assess, and which is now passed on to the taxpayers. And obviously, the budget of the country is not being balanced because NHS requires more money. But there's not much more money allocated to it, where the government is trying to balance its books in terms of deficit, to reduce deficit of the country to the barest minimum. As a result of that, cuts are being made from all sectors. And that's part of the sectors that receive the nerve and the difficulty is the NHS. And in form of getting and reviving the NHS to keep it as the national and historic, a piece of a project of this country will be proud of, is to ensure that immigrants who are here with no papers, with no lawful residence, and making an application will have to pay immigration health surcharge fee. That's expensive, and it starts from 500 upwards, depending on how many of you, depending on your circumstances in the country, if you've had one leave to remain the other before. So this fees increases, and so there are additions of fee coming up. One thing you would not want to do is to pay these fees and you don't succeed in your application. Of course, it's a give and take. The good thing about it is also you've now come in contact with Home Office. You are no longer disparaging, you're no longer undermining the immigration rules and laws of the United Kingdom, but you are engaging to say, consider me. However, when you come to Tice Madox Solicitors who prepare this application, I want to ensure that you succeed. That is a paramount issue for me. So when I take instruction from you to prepare your private life application, the fundamental focus I have in my mind, or my firm has in my mind, in their mind, is to ensure that you succeed by taking a comprehensive and holistic instruction from you, whereby we prepare your application, prepare representation. Some of you have come to my firm through other firms. When I look at the papers, prepare representation made on your behalf, in that form. And obviously, it is not good enough because argument has not been propounded, which means that they have not even taken instruction from you. Instruction is fundamental. It is key. It's the foundation of which you can build a better representation, a better argument, and also a convincing one, as a matter of fact. And you do that when you come to a firm that understand how to harness this point and present this point in a formidable, presentable, convincing manner, of which that not only for the time being, it could be used to run and build upon as the case progresses. That's why you come to me. Understand the basis, how to take instruction, client care, understand the procedural and substantive rules of matters of which you come to us. We are an expert, that's what it means. We understand the intricacies, we understand the values, we understand how it's applied, we understand the workings, we understand the fundamental and the infinitesimal values attached to that application. That's what we do when you come to Tice Madox Solicitors. So, ladies and gentlemen, this case in AM Malawi 2015 Upper Tribunal decision have made it clear and defined actually Section 117B of the Act I mentioned to you, which is the Nationality, Immigration and Asylum Act 2002. That mattered decisively, which the court laid somewhat a very precarious immigration status with concerns to immigrants, where the court laid also little weight granted to the life you establish in the United Kingdom when your immigration status is that precarious. Which means you've lived there for 10 years. Some of you will say, I've lived here for 10 years. But however, that period of you accumulating that lifestyle or that life in the United Kingdom through that 10 years is being on the precarious basis that your immigration status is so weak that you have not in any way engaged with the government. So why would you want to leave it at the time you are at the ripe age of 20 years to apply for indefinite leave to remain based on your private life, and or 20 years or down the line, or assuming one thing or the other in the private life sector, you're now due and right for application. You will be caught up on the basis that your immigration status is precarious. Don't get caught up with that. Come to Tice Madox Solicitors, ladies and gentlemen. I will deal with these matters for you. We will take instructions from you. We are a best practice firm. We employ the best practices and all arsenals of the law we unleash to ensure that you get success. That is what you want. That's what you want. The value of what you paid for, you get it. When you come to Tice Madox Solicitors, you can be rest assured that your matter is being looked after, cared for, and consistently being reviewed as time goes on, keeping you updated and informed. Some of you can attest to that. You haven't come to Tice Madox Solicitors and walked out without understanding why you were there, what you're going to do for you, and how we kept you informed. You can attest to that. The testimonies abound from you because it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. What we do speaks for itself because we are determined. I, as the principal of Tice Madox Solicitors, I am determined to ensure that the law plays its part positively in your life, positively in your career. Some of you are in employment palace, you're having difficulties with your employers or ex-employers, and one way or the other, in any manner whatsoever, discriminatory allegations or discriminatory issues you've raised, misconduct proceedings against you, compromise agreements that you're reaching, whatever contract of employment that were given to you to read, and obviously, whatever it is, victimization that you smell, that you feel, that is coming out there, that's been given to you, there are a whole lot of issues and matters in employment matters. All of them, you will be harnessed and dealt with, in both in litigation and advocacy. You know I'm good when I advocate for you. You know I'm good when I litigate for you. So what do you need anymore? You need nothing. It's all in one shop for you. It's called one-stop shop. You drop your matters with us, you can go home and sleep on the facts and on the understanding that your matter is looked after by seasoned professionals, seasoned experts who can deal with your matter, not only in immigration, for God's sake, for all the matters I've mentioned to you, that you can see after the program here on the little advert you will see on the TV, which means from family to criminal matters, you can count on Tice Madox Solicitors. Ladies and gentlemen, time is not always there. Whenever I start to talk with you, time will start clicking, which is why I try as much as possible to be quick enough to send a message across to you to come and take legal advice. When you do that, you are on the right path. When you do that, you are on the right track. And that is what this program stands for. I will encourage you to take the number on the screen, pass it to your friend, your neighbor, whoever that needs this advice, whoever is going through matters that needs better hand to handle it. You can count on Tice Madox Solicitors. You can count on me, Justice Maduforo. As I said to you before, and I raised this topic, precarious immigration status. If you are sitting on one, you are going through one, you've made no application, and your application has been found to be that your private life application, you're yet to make it, you qualify for it, you don't even know if you qualify for private life application, whether precarious conditions will attach and affect you. You want to know about that. You want to progress. Come to Tice Madox Solicitors. When I take detailed instruction from you, I will let you know how we can deal with the matters in stages. When we get to the point when the Secretary of State raises that, I will also let you know what I have used to completely gain victory when that is raised. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish I can keep on discussing this matter. Remember that these are bullet points I'm just raising in this matter. They are not the substantive matters. You get it when you come to Tice Madox Solicitors. However, I am so glad to introduce this, and I'm sure somebody out there has been also been informed, the consciousness has been kickstarted to take that quick decision. Do it for your betterment and your family and those with you as well, and for your friends. Till next time I come your way, I ask you to remain blessed. I remain Justice. Your time has come.
Tice Madox Solicitors is results-oriented, but with a distinctive approach tailored to our clients' needs in our specialist fields: immigration law, criminal law, employment law, commercial law, family law, and contracts law. Tice Madox Solicitors. Try us. We are professional.